Hello, everyone. You weren't expecting me like this, were you? Well, none of us were. Unfortunately, the awards have had to be pushed back due to unforeseen circumstances. But that means your regularly scheduled weekender is with you instead. And we've a packed show for you anyway, filled with halflings, elf things for infinity, a whole Galvy bucket load of madness coming from this Quar's War from Zombie Smith and Wargames Atlantic, and a dose of Fallout fun and games for Shay and John to drool over. On top of that, we also have 2 Battlefleets from Dystopian Wars to give away as this week's prize. If you want to get your hands on the Richter and the Corone Battlefleet, which will give you and a friend enough to start into Dystopian Wars, then you need to pop a comment below this video over on tabletop.com, not on the YouTubes, but on our main site. Just pop a comment below there and we will have a look and see who wins next week. But otherwise, sit back and relax because your weekend starts here. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Weekender. We're back again to bring you another week's worth of hobby goodness. And I'm joined by Ben, Shay, and John.
Hello.
Hi, everyone.
Good evening.
Hope you've been having a fun week.
Yes.
I've been having an interesting week.
You got your hair cut?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's the best way to distract from the 3-1 loss to Arsenal.
Yep.
People look at this and they don't mention the football. It's good. Good times.
Also, never do it again, Jerry.
Yes. In a very similar respect to keeping the lights off, Shay made me wear a hat during a Let's Play recently.
Yes.
So as not to distract him. I don't know what's going on there. It's delightful though. It's good to know I have that. I have that impression of people.
Yeah.
Right. We have obviously a packed show for you as always. But before we get into that, I thought we'd have another little wander through the dungeon. Since it
Sounds
is
good to me.
Dungeonalia time. And this one comes from HP Dandy, sorry.
HP Dandy. He's
HP
covered in
Dandy.
brown sauce.
HB sauce.
It is the fruitiest of sauces. Made from dates, you know.
What was it?
Yeah, something like that. Something like that. So this delightful little abbey is going to turn into part of a convention table for us high school's RPG/gaming convention. I remember those. They were great. And while this doesn't look very dungeon-like at the moment, you'll see when we get deeper down into it that this is only the top layer of the little village. So you can see creepy abbey type things going on. So it's been creating a 4-foot by 4-foot town center, I suppose it is. You can see stairs descending into the depths there and what appears to be some sort of Vargo. Is that what they are? I can't remember. They all have weird names these days. So yeah, if that's on holy ground, I don't think that the consecration's up to much in that abbey. I have questions about who's saying the services there. But as you can see, the buildings themselves are 3D printed. I believe he says where they come from in there. It's like infinite dimensions, Whitewood Abbey. So yeah, that's kind of cool.
Very nice.
And he's been doing a cracking job on just getting the buildings painted and up to snuff, which I like. As you can see, he does a lot of terrain.
Yeah.
Look at that lovely 3-inch deep XPS. I've got one sheet of that in the loft that I stare at going, look how tall you are. Someday we'll make a cliff out of you.
Yeah. I love the blue roof. The blue roof's nice. I like that.
Oh yeah, lovely blue slate.
Yeah.
It's a nice look. There's one of these fancy mats. Fancy. Where he's getting the layout set up. So as you can see, there's been time and effort being pushed into getting the, I was going to say exterior, but upper level done. Because the plan then is to go down, deeper and down under the town itself.
So,
they have to get in through the gates, cross the town square, swashing their buckle all the way into the abbey, down those stairs. And once they get all the way down, then the top comes off. So these boardage here are top parts. And then there is a dungeon being built underneath said thing.
Wow.
Yeah. So
that's cool.
Starting to do the interior detailing and stuff as well,
The
which
creeps.
is very creepy. There's a child for scale. The abbey is approximately one child high.
Yeah. Standard reference child.
Standard reference child. You can see here some of the dungeon-ness that's been going on. So if I scroll it down, scrolly. I have to show you some of the interior detail, to be fair, because it's quite cute what's being done there. I have no idea where that's gone. Has it gone there? It has. Well done, me. Too many tabs open. I may need to kill some of those.
Oh, that's a suspiciously pagan-looking tree.
It is a bit.
You say that, but if that was white, you'd be all over that.
Yeah, that's
You'd be screaming, "Oh, white tree of Gondor," whatever you are.
I
Worship
would.
me or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what else you say. I've never listened. I don't. It's all very confusing. But yeah, so interior altar and that sort of thing being pumped out as well.
That's
all
really
these,
nice work.
all the little incidental pieces are really nice, like the braziers with their hot coals, or their donation plates full of potatoes. Yeah, either's fine. It's an agri community. They don't have a lot. There's not a lot of gold and silver going around there.
That's the harvest festival. Is just 2 bowls of potatoes.
Give what you can.
And the wafers this week are made of potatoes. They're just crisps, all right?
Just big bag of Descos.
Yeah.
But here's the board setup. So
nice.
4 foot square, hinged, and then on the interior there will be boom, this delightful affair here.
That just lays over the top.
So
that's really cool. Yeah.
I think that's a little fountain in the middle, or it could be an altar. Best not step in the water. Just because it's liquid, not necessarily water. Could be blood, could be acid, could be anything. But I love where he's going with this. I'm not sure how liftable, offable the top is going to be, because obviously some of the buildings cross the halfway line and stuff like that. So when they're playing, will they have to decant a lot of stuff off it to get access to below? Because it'd be really nice if they don't know that they're going to end up playing into a vault below, and if they play across the board as if that's the scenario, and then discover that there's a whole other level, and that a quick change, a quick removal would be great, so that they don't have time to go, ooh, what's going on there. But regardless how it pans out, it's a really interesting project that's going on there.
Lovely stuff.
Unfortunately, having to take a break for a little while to find somewhere where their toes aren't freezing. So there will be a slight pause in the intervening 2 weeks, he said. However, he did point out, as Warren says, buying stuff is also technically hobbying. So there will be the occasional little update vis-a-vis what have I bought. Look at the pews on that. That was really
so
good.
uncomfortable. I love it.
you can feel your bottom numbing up just off the back of that, can't you, Shay? Yeah. We've all been there. It's a terrible time. So that is one of the little projects that we have going for Dungeonalia. Obviously, if you want to get involved, there's still time. You've still got a month. It'll be a very quick project. Maybe doodle something down.
Yeah, sketches work. Paint some heroes, paint some monsters.
Yeah. You don't need to go and create a whole village with underground subterranean complex and acid pool. You can just do something as simple as painting the troop of heroes that are going to go in, or doing the design work, or maybe just write the scenario up. Here's the scenario, here's the points, and then that way other people can come and steal your work, pass it off as their own to their gaming group, and look like gods. So there's a whole riff of things that you can join into, and prizes a go for it all.
So many good prizes. Oh my god.
Too many good prizes. Also, laser eye surgery. So Dungeonalia is out of the way. Well done, Ed. But in keeping with the Dungeonalia theme, it's time for our Indie of the Week. And this week, I thought we'd take a look at Wyrmforge.
Oh,
Because I'm like that.
Yes.
Now, Wyrmforge is the manufacturing company for a lot of different people, but Westphalia.
I see where
do all
this is
all the
going.
resins and stuff. And then they, Wyrmforge, have started to actually produce certain bits and pieces themselves, including they got the Darkest Eye range, which is sort of traditional sculpted stuff by Burrows mainly. Oh no, Paul Hex, actually, I think it is. Yes. But also Westphalia's Patron, which is 1 gold piece, which does a lot of digital bits and pieces. They have all of that as physical. So this I thought would be good because I don't do the ones and zeros, but I do like a lot of the sculpts, and these are a different aesthetic. Heflings.
Well, I'm immediately sold.
How much?
we will get to the Heflings in a minute. We'll start with Sky Wars for 2 reasons. 1, I really like these, and 2, Westphalia still have a Sky Wars range, which is the original ones that Boris sculpted based on the Baby Yoda show and some other characters. These are the 3D printed ones, which are not the same, so you could potentially double up. But as you can see, they're a delightful looking group. So
those are amazing.
They do look quite nice.
Oh, you've no idea. No idea. So we have the farm boy, Layla, Hun, the bugbear Bitey.
The bug Bitey is immediately my favorite. He's stunning.
That's only because you've can I big it? I can. There we go. Look at Bitey with his crossbow.
He's beautiful.
But it's a crossbow axe.
Oh,
I just noticed that. That's cool.
Yep. Yeah. So, because I mean, you've only got 1 shot, and nobody has time to reload in a firefight. At which point, Bitey lets his axe do the biting for him.
It's a bow smasher, not a bow caster.
Yo!
I know my Star Wars weapons.
You do. I'll give you that. You do. I will have to throw up Hun, or Smuggler.
Hun. Yeah.
Who's got that? They're all listed by class as well for your D&D Pathfinder-esque games. OGL,
Dashing
Orc.
Rogue.
Yeah, Dashing Rogue with a bit of armor on them, but mostly lightly armored. With
the Who Shot First would go very differently with flintlock weapons, wouldn't it?
They both mess.
Well, I guess we fight with swords now.
Unfortunately, the powder was wet. Sword Monk Kenobi is really nice.
Oh, I like the little hint of chainmail underneath there as well.
Yeah.
Ring mail, sorry. Yeah.
There's
cool.
God, get it right, Ben.
Come on.
I feel so bad.
The comments are going absolutely mental.
Right. I don't think anybody will notice. Yeah. Mostly they just look at the pictures.
The robots.
The droids are my favorite.
Droids,
yeah, that's why I said you picked 2 soon, because you've got the enchanted armor, C3, who's just cracking. He also has a squirrel on his shoulder, I'd like to point out.
Squirrel. Immediately Jerry's favorite model. So.
Yep, correct. He's not holding that candelabra, by the way. That is the end of his arm.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's just an enchanted clanker coming at you, and Arc 2, the little barrel construct, trundling along.
Death. Yeah,
it's beautiful.
There's a goblin in there somewhere.
Yeah.
Oh, there's more than just a goblin in there. We have Vader and the Emperor, and of course the Lich Lord in his full dark armor.
Yeah,
doing his thing. That'd be one of those fancy models. Look at him, there's fanciness. Interestingly enough, because Boris did one of these as well. Boris has got the magic flame in the other hand and the sword in the other one.
Oh yeah.
It's different.
Oh.
Different, but still awesome. The Lich Lord, ultimate power. Have you heard the story?
Clergy.
Yeah.
I am the clergy. He's who runs that abbey that we were looking at.
Yes,
Yeah.
that'll be your downfall, and your faith in your god is yours, paladin. Obviously, we've got Bosk, an iron
Somehow
golem
the
looking
Lich
a bit.
Lord return.
Actually, yeah, well, that's because there's resurrection spells. You just can't get rid of them.
That's true.
Um,
Oh wow, there's so many good ones. These are oh my god,
it's the
Sword Mage
yeah.
Ashley.
Yep. Oh, he's a tiefling.
Yeah. That's a great idea. Really cool.
I need it.
Yeah.
I also want the stormtroopers.
Yeah, these are great. I have a rake of these from Burrows in the resin, because I had to really. I could have just closed all those. Oh well. It's not done though because we also have Lone Wolf and Cub, Baby Gobba as well, which I do have to open because
In dwarf form as well. Goblin form. Lovely. Is it chewing the head off a frog? It is.
yes, it is.
Perfect.
And there he is with the little dwarf.
Brilliant.
I see that being in your collection very soon, Ben.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. There's no maybe.
May have already bought it.
Mhm.
I do like the troopers.
Would you do them in like a off-white armor?
Yes.
Feel weird.
Oh,
Yeah.
Heavily chipped.
have chipped
Yeah,
the
yeah.
absolute bejesus out of it. They are undead, by the way, in there. So it's skelly-bobs.
makes
You just
sense.
can't really tell. But look, they did it before Thrawn did it
Yeah.
in the Bale and Skull show.
That's
But they're
so
really
good.
nice. Really nice. I'd like to see more, please, because I know there's
Oh,
there
you
we
could
go.
do.
Knights and the Half-Delorians.
You
go
could
with
do
Baby
just
Yoda.
the events of. I mean, Star Wars is basically just a fantasy movie anyway.
Yes,
Yeah.
correct.
So why don't you could do just an entire campaign based on A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back and stuff using these characters? That'd be
Just-
so good.
Just
Yeah.
bring it back to source.
Yeah.
Getting into Han's large cart/carriage that has a smuggling
Yeah,
department. That's to get you out through the gates of Mos Eisley.
The trench run is on the back of a cart going down the middle of a valley that gets towards the sort of I don't know, the storm drain of the castle or something. Yeah, that'd be cool.
It's literally the Lord of the Rings run to Helm's Deep.
Yes.
These are
Blow up the wall.
The fancy looking, not
Mm.
imperial symbol on them.
Nice.
But yeah, so Sky, obviously great, cracking, love it. It's terrific, but there's so much more. So very much
What
more.
do they do these in, by the way? Is it metal or resin? Or
Now
what?
these are all 3D printed resin.
Okay, right. makes
So
sense.
so these
Yeah.
are just the patron files without any messing around. There is one which is not, which is if I go to the Dark Eye,
Yeah.
these are the actual resin cast. So if you missed the
Right.
Kickstarter, you can get them here. If you're unaware of the Dark Eye, it's the German Dungeons and Dragons, for want of a better word.
Their biggest role playing.
their biggest RPG. It's
Yeah.
been going for years. So some of these characters people will know from various
Like the
books
iconic
and-
ones from
yeah.
the artwork. And
Yeah,
things. Yeah.
there's the Tim the Enchanter, which is nice.
Yes.
And these are gorgeous. I'm fairly certain these were Paul did these.
They're
I actually
lovely.
found them the other night because I was looking for something else and opened a box below my desk, and they were all in there. I was going, oh yeah. I say they're all in there. There's a mage. Well, she's actually a witch that sits on the shelf beside me, and I use her for scale. You know, whenever everybody's posting a picture going, and Space Marine for scale or for reference, I go, I don't have any. So that's no good to me. I have no idea how big a Space Marine is these days. So I start using the mage in mine on the grounds if I don't know what scale your stuff is, nobody else knows what scale mine is. But these are absolutely obviously the orcs are more sort of tribal,
Right.
clannish rather than knuckle dragging monsters. So
Yeah.
in that regard, there she's there. That's my mage for scale.
Rowena.
Doesn't have a squirrel. She does have a cat on her shoulder, like a parrot.
That's still good. That's still
Yep.
good.
I think so. These are, I mean, as far as character models go,
These are perfect. Yeah,
these
yeah.
are absolutely spanking, and it's a big range, as you can see, including Fundead and
Ooh.
Norks. So
A good match to a lot of the stuff that you'd see from like Otherworld and things.
Mm.
I'd say. Very
Yeah,
cool. Mix in with that. Very
There's
nice.
your poor town guards ready to get absolutely mullered.
Mhm.
We shall help fend them off. Necromancer, a little imp on his shoulder. So those are classic resin, and then the others are 3D prints.
Nice.
So
nice.
many nice figures in there. I really should paint some more of mine.
Mhm.
And by some more, I mean finish the one that's on my shelf, and again to the other, wherever this is, 70 odd. Yeah, let's not fool myself.
Collecting is part of the hobby. Remember, it's all good.
That is true. That is true. Yeah, we'll go dwarves, because if I skip dwarves, I'm fairly certain I'll get punched. So the one gold piece patron has they tend to run on themes, so they might do a set of X-Men stuff or Star Wars stuff, like you've seen with Sky War. So over the course of a few weeks or months, you'll get superheroes in a dwarf form, or halfling Mandalorians, or whatever it happens to be.
Honey Badger.
Yeah, he doesn't, as we all know. That makes far more sense. Especially look at him. He's the right size. Could be played by Danny DeVito, like Wolverine should be.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Every time somebody goes, "Oh, huge jackass was the best Wolverine," you go, "He was a good actor, decent character, not the best Wolverine, who should be 5 foot tall, squat, hairy all over, and ugly."
Mhm.
That's what Wolverine should be.
He's far too dashing.
He's far too tall.
Yeah.
Yeah. He should be coming up to about eye level with Xavier, and he's in a wheelchair, for God's sakes. Tiny Thor.
It's a really nice Thor-esque figure. Very cool. Yeah, I like it.
Then
they've done the seven dwarves.
Yeah, including Happy. And why is Happy so happy?
Explosives.
Yeah. The best kind of happy.
Would make any man happy. She sticks a dynamite, it's all you need.
She sticks a dynamite.
And a candle on your head.
Candle on his head. Oh, that's genius.
Light and chuck.
Yeah.
That is the health and safety inspector's heart attack in one image.
Yeah.
OSHA, please get involved.
Dopey's on the liquor, obviously.
Yeah.
He's just addicted to cough syrup. And Grumpy
covered in birds.
Yeah. I suggest Grumpy, if the birds are kicking off that much, that maybe you should leave the mine.
Yeah.
I think he's grumpy because of the birds.
Yeah.
I think he shot on him.
He was one of those, I want to collect birds so I can make a funny TikTok account, but all they do is screech.
I regret everything.
All very true. Have a look at our Dwarven Champion and our Dwarven Bikers and more Dwarf Mandalorian stylies. Although I prefer the Halfling Mandalorians.
The helmets sit so well with dwarves.
That is true. Yeah. The big old full closed helms.
Yeah.
And that particular style as well works very nicely. Yeah.
The old T-helm.
Oh, lovely.
Ronnie Rocket pantsing their way around the place.
Yeah.
While they're biker buddies. With a repeating crossbow on the front.
Mm-hmm. Better than those mopeds.
100%.
Space Vespas.
Space Vespa. Yes. Space Vespa. Yeah.
This is the way to get
really
your
nice
head split open.
Models there.
Yeah. Dwarves are sweet.
Who would have thought I like the dwarves?
Yeah. It's shocking, isn't it? We'll go to heroes and villains because you enjoyed the last Honey Badger so much.
Halfling magnet.
He's got a big magnet on a stick. He's got a magnet on a stick. Just runs around.
It's magic, I promise. Okay.
Just a halfling liar.
Yeah.
Obviously, others in there as well. My favorite has got to be this, and there's a very peculiar reason why it's my favorite, because you've got Gamora and the Orc Berserker as Drax and all the rest.
Yeah.
Then you've got Rocket Raccoon, who, because he's being a halfling, is actually bigger than a lot of the other fighters who are all halflings.
Yeah.
Go, Vermin, go.
Oh, brilliant.
And then
Star-Lord is the halfling rogue. Love that. Yeah.
Which makes sense.
That's really cool. Love that. Ooh, like a vampire hunter with the stakes. That's a nice little twist. I like that.
There's a little seated monk,
Mm-hmm.
and
Do I see
I'm not
green?
looking.
Do I see Green Goblin, who is
Yeah.
just a goblin?
On a
Yes.
bat.
Yes, you do.
You'll never catch me, Spider-Man.
Although, in a shocking turn of events, it is actually a man spider stringing webs up everywhere, trying to catch him.
Yes.
Gauntlet Ogre, obviously snapping away. Skull Poople, the human assassin. And there's the little halfling web sitting over there. I have to get him up for you, Shay.
Oh, it's adorable.
That is very cool.
Like he's doing his whip.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a little crossbow. It's
Yeah.
a tiny little crossbow.
No point in chucking
Of
rope at
course it
people.
is.
I like to think that it's actually like magic bolts, so he fires them and he appears where they hit, kind of thing.
Mm.
I like
How he ends
Oh,
around.
yeah.
I like the not Iron Man.
Yeah.
Yes, the Eldritch Knight. Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah.
he's got a lot going on.
I'm really not into comic book characters, but Iron Man just ticks a lot of boxes for me.
He's
Also-
right behind you.
Also
I
notice,
know.
yeah, he's looking over your shoulder. Notice
Yes.
his repulsor ray is just like a magic amulet.
It's a magic
Yeah.
amulet off the.
Eat hot beamings. Heretic. And then
It's a really nice,
it's a really nice
set.
maze.
What do you do, Batman or Iron Man? I cast Fireball. Oh, no.
And I suppose we'll have to have a look at the Hiffling army. So I think
Oh my god!
I think you'll appreciate this. Goats are the way of the future.
Obviously.
All the goats all the time. But it's a really substantial set of little Hifflings. Heavy calf, medium
Old school
calf.
Bretonians, new halfling army. New halfling army wins. There we go. There's even a green knight.
Join me in Kings of War, Ben.
Yes. Yeah. I have been very tempted since we looked at Kings of War stuff by salamanders and all sorts of different things, but I'm trying to be good.
Right. Why?
There's no point in being good. You only
No.
live once.
Yeah.
Have you tried not being good?
Collect all the armies.
That's what I'm doing.
Lady of the Lake. Oh. But the
Pigeon.
lakes is the lake's quite shallow.
A watery bin.
The watery bit.
I had to.
No form of governance.
The watery tart me.
These are really nice. I love those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good stand-ins, or as you say, good way to make an entirely new army if you're diving into something like Kings of War.
Mm.
Yeah. Very, very good. Love
You
that.
you two can have a war wagon.
And
Look
for the
at this.
physical stuff, it's not that expensive either. Actually, obviously, I guess you're going to be paying shipping coming from America, but
Yeah.
other than that, if you're going to buy a big army, sort it out, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So-
Are these available as STLs as well?
Yes. Yeah.
Then no shipping required. Just a friend with a 3D printer.
Yeah.
Very true.
These are just
Oh,
but Wyrmforge is just there for people who don't do the ones and zeros.
Mm.
Look at them.
What is your
Uh,
profession? Well, actually, we're all cooks.
these are our frying pans.
Yeah.
Let's say please turn the shields the right way up. So I have my lambda facing north. Thank you. It just upsets me.
They're really nice as well.
Look how angry they are.
Mm.
I'd love them to expand the Greeky side further, because obviously
Yes.
they're well up here with these. I mean, this set of militia, like that set, Militia 1, these were the very first things that they released digitally
Right.
several years ago.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah. That is a good set of mutton chops.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's an impressive set. So
yeah, we
they've just been
need
expanding
halfling
since then.
Leonidas, definitely. We need
oh
that.
god, yeah,
Yeah.
stabbing people up.
Mhm.
And
What would
then
you
I
call
just-
them?
Oh,
Leonidas? Neitis? Neitis?
Oh,
answers in the comments.
Yeah.
yes. Just this little tiny,
Really
dude with
tiny
rippling
ball of
muscles.
anger.
Yeah.
Muscles on muscles, but like
Yeah,
up
yeah,
to
yeah.
your knee in height.
Cool. Oh, perfect. If you want
Also
to do
do-
something diminutively Conan-esque.
Yep.
Lovely. Really good.
Don't worry, there's also a Conan and a Red Sonja to kick his ass. And the Merry Men as well.
Very little John.
along with the sheriff. He is very little.
Oh,
Not as little as some of the others, but quite little.
The Band of Destiny as well.
Yep.
Love that.
oh yes.
That's
So,
Snake
yeah.
Slayers. Very cool.
Those they're recessed so you can take them out. They're on a proper 20 mil base, like
They're
God
both-
intended.
They're both stood there going, "How did we kill this?"
Old age, just couldn't get a grip with them. Just
Yeah,
kept
with
running
much
round and round.
arguing, and then ended up dead.
If you just do the ones and zeros thing, the patron lives there. It's 1 gold piece, and you can get it in there.
Is there a My Mini Factory as well and stuff for this, I guess, or is it all just downloads through there? Or...
I keep getting my mini factory links. So I'm going
I
to
would
say,
assume they're doing the fulfillment, then,
Yes.
probably. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but like I generally, because it's literally it's $1 a month plus tax, because they have to
Wow.
have the tax and fee. So it works out like $1.50 a month. And the only reason I'm subscribed is so that they have enough money to keep doing stuff in resin with Boris. I've never opened any of the links or done anything or even downloaded them. I've been there since day one. So I've probably got everything. Everything you've just seen.
Probably, yeah.
I've probably
Yeah,
got
yeah.
that. Maybe. I don't know. I don't
John's
know how
like,
any,
can I has, please?
I don't know how any of this works. Anyway, so Wyrmforge, if you want to get your hands on some weird and wacky halfling and some stonking heroes, it's
That's
worth
super
checking
cool.
them out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. We shall be back after the swish with some news.
Coming to you from the center of Northwestern Europe. Covering board games, war games, card games, and all that you love. It's the news.
Okay, we're kicking the news off with some fantastic looking Norcs from Kev, the Goblin
Yeah.
Master, getting bigger in his old age.
It seems to be working on more stuff than ever, it seems. But yeah, so Kev Adams is working with the folks at Badger Games to create a new range of sci-fi models. And obviously, Kev Adams, being the Goblin Master, the Lord of all things greenskin, has been exploring a couple of new ranges with the folks at Badger and bringing them to life. So, yes, the first set of stuff that we're going to be looking at are the Cosmic Orcs. These have been designated as the underlings to the goblins because they're the ones that are really in charge. And we know that's true about everything to do with greenskins, really.
That is.
Yeah. And so these are basically the orcs that get sent into battle ahead of the goblins so that they don't have to worry about getting shot and everything else in between. Kev's done a section of models. So you've got commanders, you've got NCOs, so you've got some sort of leaders for your units. You've got your shock troops and your elite elements as well, alongside your regular troops there too. They're all armed with a variety of different weapons. You've got rocket launchers, plasma guns, regular guns, big artillery pieces, and everything else in between, and loads of different command figures as well. If you're somebody who likes that kind of old hammer style look to things, then obviously Kev Adams' work is fantastic for that. And there'll be a lot of people out there with sort of classic orc collections for sci-fi and Warhammer 40,000 and everything that people want to pick these up for and drop them into their games. Yeah, very nice stuff indeed.
They are.
On the orc front. They're
Absolutely cracking. And yeah, they have that classic warg, the orcs, here we go, freebooters
Yes.
feel the late 80s, early 90s, when everybody was a bit more manic and individual.
lovely. Yeah.
Crowd of command. Joshua, you watching this?
Yeah.
Anyway,
They've also, I love that all of them could basically be bikers as well. They've got like bike
Yeah.
helms on. It's a really
They-
nice
well,
little touch.
yeah, they do look like they should be chasing down an orangutan and Clint Eastwood. Clive, signal left.
Anyway. On the other side of things, we've also got the leaders of this particular greenskin army. So you've got the cosmic goblins as well joining the fray, in much the same way as the orcs. The selection of sort of command models. So you've got your radio operators, your sort of banner bearers, standard bearers, champions, leader figures, alongside all of your basic troops as well. And as I said, like the focus here is that these are kind of the brains behind the operation, as it were, rather than them being the frontline troops.
Always
So you
have
send
been.
the orcs in first, the big boys, and then you come in behind and clean things up. And
Big
claim
dumb
the victory.
orcs.
Yeah, big dumb orcs.
That's why they call them the goblinoid races.
Yeah.
Is the boombox guy the radio operator?
Yep.
Yes. So everyone can hear the orders, not just your side.
just bang out Bad Moon Rising. Is that why that's in my head?
Yes, that might be it.
They are absolutely great.
Yeah.
I love the medic.
Yes, the medic is really nice as well.
He's going to kill so many orcs.
Yeah. What's the blue stuff? I don't know.
Omelette eggs, you know.
Yeah.
Can't cure an orc without killing half a dozen or so.
Very true.
It's fine.
As I was saying, though, Badger Games are going to be developing this into a much larger range. So they bring out a lot of miniatures by lots of smaller companies and stuff and sell them on their web store and things. But as I say, this is going to be expanding over the rest of the year into a variety of different new factions, hopefully in this kind of same style. And they're also going to be working on a set of rules for this as well. So you'll be able to dive in and play with those models in their own game, which I think is quite fun. But of course, drop them into whatever you want, sci-fi wise. Very nice.
Nice. Like it. Now, going from very retro to quite new and exciting.
Yes, and even a little bit post-apocalyptic. So this one's, I think John's going to enjoy this one. Maybe you as well, Shay. So this one is Fallout Factions, Battle for Nuka-World. This is the new skirmish game that is coming out from the folks at Modiphius for their Fallout universe. And this one has been designed by James N. Hewitt, who has done some amazing games in the past. So, got some pedigree behind him. This one's the 32mm skirmish game. So it matches the scale of what they've done in the past for Fallout games and their role-playing stuff as well and all that kind of thing. But these are multi-part plastic miniatures that they've done for this. So you can spread over 3 different sets. So you basically choose a band of raiders. So there's the pack, the operators, and the disciples, and you can build them however you like and give them whichever weapons you desire. And drop them into your games as you battle for Nuka-World, as the name of the starter set would suggest. It's all about fighting for territory and controlling it and sort of diving into campaign play and all that kind of thing as well. There's like a full Let's Play and stuff online at the moment. You can go and check out if you want to learn a little bit more about the game itself. But looks really good. I like the idea of them sort of focusing in on a particular area of the Fallout universe to sort of play out these skirmish games and do this kind of mini campaign style thing on the tabletop. And I think sort of focusing around the idea of the raiders is a really good way to go as well, actually. So looks very, very nice indeed.
Not something you get a lot from the Fallout tabletop games that have been around. Like, you don't get a lot of raider stuff. Like, you got with their previous one, the Wasteland Warfare.
Yeah.
But they seem to like to have a lot of raider content out there and not just focus on the big knowable factions as much.
I'm not sure what's the most frightening thing there. I have a sneaking suspicion it's probably the Elephant Man at
Elephant
the back.
Man.
Yeah. So it's
Barney sick AK.
Yeah. Could be that. Or over here we have what appears to be some sort of red panda with a twig-like hair, which is interesting.
They're clearly totally sane.
Is that a stuffed toy grenade?
He's got another one strapped to him, so potentially, yeah.
Bit of both.
There's a large amount of teddy bears filled with ammo there.
I was watching the demo game they put up with James and one of the other fellas playing it, and it made me want the operators because they just said everything about the operators is long range, and I was like, perfect. I don't want to be anywhere near these guys at all. Lots of guns, guns and missile launchers, and
So these are 3 different plastic hard plastic, or
yes, 3 different hard plastic multi-part sets that you can sort of play around with and build up into your different gangs and stuff, which is pretty cool. So
very interested in this.
Be fascinated to see how these things break down because they're very individual.
Yeah.
Yes, we're all individuals.
From looking at these anyway, you can see that they're like arms are obviously separate from bodies and legs potentially, and then heads are separate. So maybe it's just a case of messing around with those and sort of working out the weapon options that you want for each of these, I guess.
Time will tell.
It makes sense in like a campaign-y style sense, kind of campaign-y style sense to have these kind of multi-part kits to allow you to do whatever you kind of want to run around with on the tabletop. It's quite nice.
Yep.
So yeah, there's the starter set for Battle for Nuka-World that you can dive into and pick up. It's very nice. Comes with all that really nice terrain as well that you can sort of slot together and have fun with. But they've also got a selection of, well, you can buy all the different factions individually, or you can buy them as part of a bundle, which basically gets you everything. So that will give you the Battle for Nuka-World plus the additional Raiders faction for the Disciples, and then all the dice sets and stuff as well. So that's obviously just a great way to dive in if maybe you've got another friend that wants to play the game as well. But if you already have a lot of stuff from Wasteland Warfare lying around, you can actually try the game out already. So they've done a Quickstart set. So it's just a set of Quickstart rules that you dive into and download, totally free over on their web store. And you can just start playing some games, and it'll sort of lead you through sort of like an opening game effectively on the tabletop, where you'll get to learn the mechanics and everything else and see how it all plays, and then maybe dive in and get it yourself, as pre-orders are available now for this one. But yeah, looks very cool.
Very fancy. We should be talking to James Hewitt as well. So hopefully you'll see that next week.
Yep.
So we'll pick his brains, and myself and John find out a bit more about the game and the plans for it, and how the thing will all play out on the tabletop as well. For all you pet boys. I don't know. I don't know if that's a thing. I'm down with the kids. Down with kids.
For all you people that want to play Necromunda but really prefer the Fallout style.
Yes. That's the way to
The
go.
correct answer.
There we go. Right. Glad somebody knows what Fallout is. I'm so lost. On to more exciting and different things. This Quar's War has got a plastic set coming from Zombie Smith / Wargames Atlantic. And pre-orders have just gone up for this. So long time ago, we looked at Zombie Smith as an indie, checking out some of the stuff they've done for this Quar's War. Quar. They are, if you want to know, a World War I level of technology, but they are humanoid anteaters.
Yep.
They're always hungry. Num, 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 num. And previously, this has been available as a 6mm, a 15mm, and a 28mm version of the game. These are specifically for the 28mm. The whole range for 28's getting a revamp. Look at the lovely Peter Dennis artwork for the box front. Look at them coming at you like Cleopatra.
So good.
I would love to be a fly on the wall in that. Peter does so many historically accurate, things. Do a Trojan chariot for me this week, Peter. Okay, Trojan chariot. Okay, right. Next week I need you to do World War I humanoid anteaters. Squeeze me. So Clash of Riffles is the new starter box. So it has enough in there to get two people started into playing the 28mm version of it, using the new hard plastic set. 24 Quar in the box, with all the options to make them into either the Croftrians or the Crusaders. So as far as the backstory of this Quar's War goes, for about 700 years, they've been in a state of constant warfare called the Long War, or the Long Struggle. And then about a decade ago, the faction sort of split, as they have done multiple times, lots of little wars overlapping. And then this time around, somebody went, you know what? You know what's causing us problems? Class system. So we need to rise up against all these, royalty people who can cure scrofula by putting their hands on your head. All that's nonsense. And the Crusade started. So the Croftrians and the Crusaders are the two main factions, although there are other little factions. But even within them, there's, they're not a solid single force. The Croftrians are sort of the royalists, and the Crusaders are the people who want to smash the system down and build it all back up again in a classless society, where one man doesn't get to keep all the land because he's put hedges in 50 years previously. Which is how it goes. That is exactly how it goes. So as you can see, there's slight differences in the setups. These, you may notice striations, like these were protos, 3D printed prototypes before the new plastic came in. But I'm not going to go through the weapons because they lose me. Josh, has done a ton of backstory and work on the world that they inhabit, and so every weapon is sort of named for the specific faction. So bolt action rifles essentially, or some sort of big bloopy gun, things like 20 mil machine pistols and stuff there, but they all have their own intricate little names and adaptation, apart from the 24 little Quar, and these will be cross-compatible with he's been sculpting a new range, which will either be, some will be metal, some will be, I think, a CO-cast type of thermoplastic based on the pictures of the buckets, loads of stuff I've seen Joshua doing. But you'll be able to take heads and arms off the sprues and add them to those and vice versa, so you can do a lot of chop and changing. Nice. So cross-compatibility is always good. Tiny little anteaters. On top of that, you get the Rifler's Pocketbook, which allows you to riffle away. This is the little A5 game system. So this is like a 1.5 version. The original version is currently available for free as a PDF on Zombiesmith's website. If you go to zombiesmith.com, you can get the version 1 book and have a look through it. There's like no points values in it. It's very much a narrative scenario-based game where you work things out with your friends. So there's no hard and fast list building, because it's not a tournament style game. It's not we're going to turn up and see if anybody down the club has got 500 points of Croftians with them. This is one of these games where you're going, right, well, here's a scenario for trying to get through trenches or whatever, or here's like
let's just see how it plays out kind of thing.
Yeah, here's a tank that needs to be knocked out. How are we going to do that with our tiny little anteater men? The cards, the autumnal looking thing is the back of the card, and then the rest are your sort of suits and numbers for activation. So there's mostly 4s, a few 5s, and a few 3s. So you work your activations off the deck of cards. So you may find that you've got less or more.
That's nifty.
More or fewer actions in a turn. Before people start writing in like points of view, we don't read them anyway. Don't worry. So yeah, you can get your hands on the rule book and like fairly shortly. Like I say, this is currently on pre-order, which means it can't be long in the offing before it comes out. It will be obviously on Zombiesmith's shop. However, he has said, obviously, Wargames Atlantic distribute in sort of 3 geographic locations. So you've got US, UK/Europe, and then Australasia. And he has said that his own line of stuff, so the individual blister packs of metals and plastics, so your specialists, your officers, things like that, they will be stocked by Wargames Atlantic.
Oh, that's nice.
Stockists. So hopefully it should make people it should make it more readily available for people to get their hands on, depending on where you are in the world, which is good. I really like the idea of this. I'd love to. We need to get Charlie and see if we can get Joshua as well and have a chat about them. Because this Quar's War is obviously it's been going for a while, but this is a sort of a new direction Wargames Atlantic taking, where there's quite a lot of rule sets coming up, which we haven't really seen. And we've certainly not talked to them to see what their plans are there as well. So yeah, good times to be an anteater. Also, if you do get the you should definitely go to Zombiesmith and grab the PDFs, the old PDFs, because you can see the geographic location, all the rest. Their uniforms, even though they're World War I-ish, they have a very Napoleonic feel. So there's like little color plates. We're going Croftians. Here's your various famous regiments. Here's the collar and lacing and collar and cuffs, and unit markings for those, so you can see how to paint them up and all as well. Or obviously, the World War I anteaters, you can just ignore that and do whatever you want. But if you want to be historically accurate for your Quar,
as you should be,
then definitely have a look at those as well.
Quasi wombles.
One other thing, the box it comes in, they actually have terrain printed on the flaps of the box.
Oh, wow.
So they have little signposts, bushes and shrubbery, some barbed wire, and then down one side they have a set of pieces to make a shack, a little lean-to shack. So the box gives you some terrain. So if you are just going, well, what do I need for this? The answer is weird purple and green cartoony bushes and stuff.
Nice.
I think it's really cute. And I seen last night on the Quar face page group, somebody was asking if they could get those separately as PDFs, and Joshua and Charlie were going, that could be doable. So that might be available for download. And I like the idea of a almost like my youth flat terrain with stop motion Trumpton-esque anteater figures fighting out. It appeals to me at a very base level. So
that would be really nice.
So yeah, keep your eye. You may see those pop up. I imagine they'll go on to Zombie Smith as well into the PDF-y downloady bits. So yes, this Quar's War is available to pre-order now from all good bookshops. Possibly. I don't know. Waterstones have board games. Surely they have.
Ask in the town.
Yeah. Right. Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
More stuff Cummings.
So Night Models are going to be releasing their new Game of Thrones miniatures game later this year. We've seen a couple of previews for the two factions that are going to be duking it out. As you might have imagined, it's the Starks versus the Lannisters, and the central focus of the game to begin with seems to be around that sort of uprising from the north, with Robb Stark and his army heading down through the lands of Westeros to battle against the Lannisters and try and make their way towards King's Landing. And so this set was previewed last week, so this one's the Starks. I initially thought it was Jon Snow, and then remembered it's Robb Stark.
It's Robb Stark. It's the young wolf.
Yeah. So you got Robb Stark there alongside Grey Wind, his direwolf, and then a bunch of the sort of Stark soldiers there with a variety of different weapons. Looking very nice. All of the models are going to be in 35mm, as is the case with all of the Night Models games anyway. So if you're thinking about scale and stuff, that's where they kind of fit into the spectrum. But obviously, not just seeing the initial sort of Stark box set, as I would imagine this is. We also got to look at a few more characters as well. So we've got Catelyn Stark and Roderick Cassell as well. So if you remember them from the TV show and obviously the books as well, they're going to be added into the mix too. It'll be interesting to see how much of an effect they have on whatever happens with the game. Like, will it be just a straight up kind of skirmish game where it's all just about fighting? Will they have kind of a political element in there as well? Are these just sort of like
elephant?
Who would have thought it? Maybe, potentially. But yeah, really nice models. Obviously based off the TV show rather than the book.
Yeah.
Look, which is obviously the preserve of Simon and Darksword, and because they do all that kind of stuff. But looking very nice indeed, especially if you're someone who actually quite liked Game of Thrones before it fell off a cliff.
Yep. Yeah. As long as they make sure they stop their miniatures game before they hit season 7.
Yeah. I think that sounds good to me. Yeah.
I've always loved that character. Just for the little touch of his mutton chops tied under his chin. And I'd missed it in like the first episode, and then the second episode I'm going, is that? And then by the third you're going, no, yeah, definitely is.
Yeah.
And then you never get to see him again. You're going, oh, shame.
I will say that we have already seen miniatures for the likes of Jon Snow and Daenerys Targaryen and things, so they are going to be popping up at some point in the future. But obviously in that kind of like core battle to begin this game, we're also going to be getting the Lannisters as well. So they're going to be dropping in with Jaime Lannister leading the way in his swaggering style before he loses a hand.
I was going to say, don't show off with that hand, mate. You won't be having it for too long.
That's coming off. But yes, you got Jaime Lannister and the Mountain there as well, again, alongside a bunch of the Lannister soldiers, all looking suitably cruel and dastardly and evil, as you would have thought from the Lannisters. So a nice little mix of models in there for the game. We haven't heard anything about mechanics or anything just yet. It'll be interesting to see if it's a departure from stuff that we've seen them do with Batman and DC, whether or not it'd be board based or if it'd be on like proper tabletops or anything. But I'm sure we'll learn more in the coming weeks and months as Night Models work out what they want to do with the game. But yeah, they are very, very good.
There's one thing you can say about Night Models: their ability to accurately miniaturize actual people. We've seen it with Batman and DC.
They look like the actors.
They look like the actors who are portraying them. And And therefore, even if you're just going, because the amount of people who go, I really want to paint up, I really want Lannister army, and then it's going, because they've seen that in the TV show. And then when they get right down to it, it's like, well, maybe I don't actually need an army. Maybe I just want to paint up the models.
Yeah.
But nobody out there is really doing them. Well, now you've got a chance. It will be fascinating to see what direction they go system-wise. I haven't looked at DC, but Batman I've played around with in the past, played a few games. And it's very interesting, and mechanically it works that it's always at night. So if you're looking to do anything clever or attack somebody or hit somebody from range, you have to make sure that they're illuminated in some way, like via
standard of the street light,
a street light, and that sort of thing. To play, even though your gaming table isn't dark, they work on the principle that that's it, because it plays into how Batman appears in the comics.
Well, yeah.
You know, always creeping out of the darkness. So that they're not adverse to adding in
something
intricacies
thematic
like that,
in the rules.
thematic thing, yeah. Now, I can't think of anything particularly key to Game of Thrones itself. Certainly not
the
in there.
set comes with a knife, and you get to stab your opponent in the back.
That would be the best way. If you could
Both players start with frostbite.
Oh, not yet though. But the interesting thing would be if they did have something like that on the mercenary point. Remember when we were playing Stalingrad for Undaunted, and my Romanians immediately bucked over to you, Shay?
Yes, I remember him. It was quite enjoyable.
Yeah. So if you've got your Starks against your Lannisters, and then somebody's brought allies of some description,
like the Umbers or something.
Is there a chance that the allies will turn coat while you're not expecting?
That would be
it,
good.
You know. But I don't. At the very least, I mean, even if they just run it as a standard skirmish game, it should be grand.
Well, yeah, it looks great as well. Yeah. I think one of the things that's quite nice and refreshing from my point of view as well is that I've always really liked the sculpts from Night Models, but I've, especially with the Batman range, maybe a couple of years ago now, I think they've kind of toned it down a little bit more. They always looked very much like painters models rather than gaming models. I think these in particular look like good gaming pieces. They're all in like cool poses with their swords out, you know, getting stuck into fighting and that kind of thing. So that's a nice thing to see with the range.
I imagine there'll be CO-cast or whatever.
Yeah, they'll probably be in there, whatever the new material that they're using.
Because I know they've used that for the most recent releases. Metal, unfortunately, has gone away. I'm going to cry.
I had some of the old Metal Marvel models. I'm glad they're gone.
I'm not going to miss Night Metal models.
Gorgeous.
They were a pain in the ass.
Just clean them up, lads. They are absolutely spanking gorgeous. Anyway, enough of that. We have some Whampster news.
We do, yeah. So this one came out, I think it was last week or the week before. But it's a pretty big one for those who are diving into the Horus Heresy, or at least continuing to play the game and stuff like that. So they are continuing to release more big black books, as they call them, for the series, focused around particular theaters of war and sort of like particular armies that are fighting in that period of history within the Horus Heresy. This one is the battle for Beta-Garmon, which sees the Warmaster Horus going up against Sanguinius and Chagatai Khan, and yes, Titans. Yes, lovely. This will include rules for basically that campaign and diving into that, which I think is quite nice. I think a lot of people approach Horus Heresy from the viewpoint of it being a historical game in that regard. I know Warren's done articles and things on this anyway, but this is very much going to be focusing on that and the particular campaign around the Garmon cluster. But what's also quite nice is that they've thrown in additional rules and things. So we'll get to these in a second, but they've done this set of rules called for an onslaught campaign. So this is so you can do a mini campaign maybe over the course of a weekend. So it's a series of linked games that are all tied together and the results of one leading to the next. And you play maybe 6 games over the course of a weekend. And then by the end of that, you've played out your sort of version of this battle on the tabletop, or maybe in a different corner of the universe. The other thing they've added is, and you can see the images of these here, rules for using both the Shattered Legions and the Black Shields in your games. So if you wanted to take a little bit more of a different route, maybe you don't want to side with Horus or the Emperor.
The Survivors of Isfahan 5 or...
Yeah, anything like that. You've got a really nice way to kind of mix and match all of your armor patterns, as a lot of people do anyway with the Horus Heresy armies. And some good ways for you to build.
You've got to pick a side.
Do you?
Yes.
Do you?
I mean, it's a historical game when you have people in here on Saturday going, yeah, but the Death Guard didn't get Mark 5. It's got to be Mark 2 and 3 is the majority of what they wore. And it's like, dude.
It's space soldiers, man. Yeah. But yes, I think it's quite nice that they've now finally got around to putting in the rules for the Shattered Legions and the Black Shields. I know a lot of people really like messing around that kind of stuff and doing like weird combinations of different units in their armies to kind of bring in a lot more of the mortal troops alongside I say mortal. Space Marines are also mortal, but alongside the mortal troops and the Space Marines of the various legions. And I like the fact that they've done this kind of mini campaign set of rules in there too, which I think would be really nice for people to dive into and have fun with.
Campaign's interesting. I wonder how quickly it's Horus Heresy, so at the end of the day it's like an older version of 40k. So they're still not particularly quick games to play through. So while with the best will in the world they say you can play a campaign over a weekend.
A long weekend.
If that
including Friday and Monday.
Bank holiday weekend.
With big long days of gaming. Because I mean, you're going to want it to be more than 2 games.
Mm-hmm.
But, getting 2 or 3 games in a day, certainly getting 3 games in on one day's gaming is a push.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see what they think a mini campaign is. Potentially it could be just something, yes, they say you can play over a weekend. In reality, you're probably going to play over a couple of months.
Probably, as you build up your armies and that kind of thing. I will say there was another mechanic that they talked about, which just felt very Warhammer to me. It's called the mortification index.
I've never been so mortified in my life.
So this is...
So you get embarrassed to death.
Yeah. Apparently, it's based around the amount of casualties that have been caused over the course of the campaign, changes the strategic advantage of one side or the other. So you're actually going to be counting all the deaths as you go through, which I thought was very, very Warhammer. That entire planet has been annihilated. That means the skulls reserves have gone. Yes.
Just keep a bag of skulls on hand.
Somewhere the world eaters are like, well, this is just like money, right?
It's one way of doing it, I suppose. One way of doing it. Right. We have some Infinity releases from Corvus Belli to wrap up the news.
Yes, we do. Yeah. So these are the releases that are going to be up for pre-order very soon and will be releasing in March 2024. So yes, not too long to go. We start off with another character from Aristea finding his way into the worlds of Infinity. So we have Maximus, Optimate and Hexadome legend, with his amazing boob plate armor, stepping into the mix to do some fighting on the battlefield.
I was fine with this model until you said that, Ben.
Can he reach his rifle? No.
Can he scratch his face? No.
Maybe he transforms into like a VW Beetle.
Maybe. But yeah, so Maximus is going to be stepping in for obviously the forces of Aleph, taking to the battlefield as the sort of the people's champion, as it were, a mighty icon of Aleph and everything that they stand for, barging his way, into everything on the enemy can throw at him and destroying it all, looking fabulous at the same time. Absolutely gorgeous model. There,
I know nothing about the lore of Aleph, but every time I look at them, I go, "You're so far up your own backside. I don't care."
I think that's how
I'm
most
going to go
people
back
view
to
Aleph.
Yeah, I'm going to go back to my nightly orders and just I don't know.
I think people say mostly the same thing about Pano. So
I don't care. We can't hear you over the sound of our laments of our Spitfires.
Yeah. So yes, you got Maximus there looking very, very nice. This is one of the thermoplastic miniatures that they've been doing, actually, because it's obviously much bigger. So it would be a little bit of a headache in metal. Another one of the thermoplastic miniatures is the next one, the Anathematic Hacker.
Want it?
Just gorgeous combined army amazingness. Oh, lovely. I love the kind of xenomorph head and the which I've only just noticed, and the really awesome sort of like curling tails and barbs coming off the back as well. It's just lovely. This is as the name might suggest, a hacker. But obviously, because it's a combined hacker, he also wants to beat your face at the same time.
He's going to take your private terminal, beat you to death with it, and then steal all your money. Steal all your Bitcoin.
Is it
He'll hack
hacking?
it literally. Yeah.
Is it hacking if he just takes your head off and holds it up to the retinal scan?
Yes.
I have hacked another terminal. That's not how.
I'm so good at this.
Who's going to explain it to him? No, we're not. We'll just let him go on.
This is able to sort of sneak around stealthily behind enemy lines and obviously get into the right position to do some hacking, as you might have guessed. So if you want to turn off tags or just rip them to pieces, maybe add the Anthemactic hacker into your combined army. Very nice indeed. We also got someone bringing the heavy guns. So for the forces of Hack-Islam, you've got this special deterrence group, Azrael. So as the name would suggest, very good at deterring the enemy, covered in heavy armor and with a big heavy gun that is all about popping holes through armor. So if your friend is running heavily armored troops or maybe running tags, this will be a good opportunity for you to sort of like pop them as they're running around the battlefield before they know what's hit them. So a very nice model there as well. Sort of really nailing that kind of like sci-fi militaristic industrial vibe.
Hack-Islam have such a great vibe about them anyway.
Yeah, really nice stuff there. And obviously really nice models to paint as well, with all those kind of like earthy tones and everything alongside lots of metallics and things. Very nice indeed. We also got another sort of smaller new set as well. So you've got the Zeros. So if you're wanting to throw in some fun character models for the Nomads, you've got 3 of them to choose from there. Looking very nice.
Parkour cyborgs.
Of course. I wouldn't think anything less of Infinity. And the Legend of the Monkey King at the same time, which is great.
The floor is lava.
So yeah, a really nice set there for the Nomads. Looking very good. Lovely.
Everybody else was fine. They all stayed off. This one failed.
Yeah. And last but not least, there's also 2 action packs. So if you're maybe someone who's wanted to dive into playing Infinity, but they've never really known where to start.
Is that a new William Wallace?
It is a new William Wallace. Yeah. So this is 2 new sets. So you got the Ariadna one, and there's also a Nomads one. And the action pack comes with everything you could need to start out with Infinity, and then a few additional models here and there to kind of like take you to the next level and go beyond and sort of build up your force, and obviously give you different options when it comes to weapons and abilities and skills and everything like that as well. These are all done in their traditional metal, apart from the little robot at the back there, the remote, which is a thermoplastic one. But yeah, gorgeous stuff, obviously, continuing the trend of amazing sculpting from the folks behind Corvus Belli's amazing Infinity World.
I need the Ariadna one.
The Ariadna one is
I need
nice.
that.
Is it the balaclava?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Not available to ship to Northern Ireland.
The William Wallace is awesome, sort of leaping forward. Clearly shouting freedom, obviously.
Always.
He does, yeah. And then showing his ass.
Also always.
Yeah.
Fear the man brave enough to wear a skirt in space combat.
Yeah. Oh my god, that in 0G just floating around. No secrets here, boys.
I am naked, so what?
I really like that.
Yeah.
Environmental helm with the like some sort of halo drop type thing.
It has got that kind of vibe to it. Yeah.
ODST diving suit.
Yeah. They're sweet.
Yeah.
But
obviously, great if you're somebody who maybe already has Ariadna or Nomads and you want to throw in like a few additional models or take things in a different direction. Maybe go and check out one of these and sort of take it to the next level.
Or like say, if you're just starting, you don't know where to go, just go, I'll have that.
Just buy this.
Or I'll have this. And that's actually sorted for a long time.
Like I did with Infinity. It was just like, oh, there's 2 packs that are coming up. Yep, mine.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I pre-ordered them while we were on that weekender too.
I remember. All right. So there we have it. A whole bevy of beauties in the news once again. We're going to take a quick swish, and when we come back, we'll be finishing off the show. Okay, we're back and ready to take a look at some 1s and 0s. 11101101010.
Can we pronounce the name of it this week?
We can.
Ooh.
It's going to be a brave new world.
So this one is for Grimdark Future and Edge of Fantasy. Yeah, I guess I know what it is. From Onepagerules, yes. So they have done a new set of quick start sets for you to dive into and play their games. So if you are someone who has their hands on a 3D printer, or maybe just even a regular printer, because you can get your hands on 2D elements for this as well, you can dive into both of these sets and basically learn how their games play and get started in it, which I think is really nice. And they're free.
It's always good. We enjoy free.
Blown.
We do.
Yeah. So the sci-fi one for Grimdark Future comes with the Jackals, where you get nomads, elites, and vultures going up against the war demons, which have warriors, hounds, and furies. You also get some little bits of terrain in there as well, alongside tokens and rulers. There's pre-made armor lists, so you don't have to do anything. And then there's also the core rules and the basic rulebook in there as well, so you can just get started and have a little bit of fun on the coffee table, which I think is really nice. Your 3D printed coffee table, perhaps, maybe.
It's like you don't have to think or anything.
The only thing you need to supply is dice and fun. Alongside that, we've also got the Age of Fantasy version, which comes with the Duchies of Vinci militia, alongside the City Guards and the Automata, and they're going to be going against the Beastmen. So you get warriors, elites, hunters, and then again, terrain for all of those, alongside little tiny tutorial miniature campaign, the basic rules, the army list, and everything else as well. And again, as I say, it's all free.
It is very much all free. I wouldn't say spammed, but because I was in their Patreon a while back, so I've got all of the rule sets, and then Monday or Tuesday of this week, I got like 7 or 8 notifications from DriveThru going, new rules version available for Fantasy Skirmish, for Grimdark, for Grimdark Future, for blah, 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 blah. So they've obviously gone back through and revamped everything. Yeah. As you can see there, all of these have all got a shiny new version.
I will also say, a lot of people were saying, oh, this is great, it's free, but I don't have a 3D printer. And I was like, well, that sucks. But you can get your hands on all of the digital rules and all the assets, stuff like that. And obviously you can play with the 2D elements if you wanted to, so you can just make paper models and things. But Onepagerules also work with Only Games and My Mini Factory, and you can get basically all of their models as physical models anyway. So if you want to use this to try out the rules, maybe with models that already exist, and then go over and get the stuff physically from Only Games, you can do, which I think is quite nice. On the other side of things as well, also, it's February, it's a new month. That means a new Patreon bundle. And of course, there are 2 amazing sets for you to dive into, one for fantasy and one for sci-fi. On the fantasy side of things, you've got the Vampiric Undead, where you get a variety of undead soldiers. So you've got zombies, wights, necromancers, vampire lords on nightmares, flying bat creatures, and there's also a corpse card, as you can see there. And obviously, you can print these as many times as you like to make as big an army as you care to play with. On the other side of things, you've got the dwarf guilds that are just better in every way than the Leagues of Votan. So you have 2 absolutely massive tanks at the back, as you can see. That's going to use a lot of resin. Hollow those out. I'd hope they maybe already are hollow. Okay. And then you've got all your sort of basic troops and leader characters and champions and everything in there as well to start making up the core of your sci-fi force on the tabletop. So some really nice stuff there, both for free and for those people who are going to be subscribing to their Patreon and diving in on that side of things as well. Onepagerules is a great set of rules. Make sure to go and check out. You know what? I'm going to put the link down to our video, our sort of live stream that we did where we played the game. That was really cool.
That's right. Shay played. Oh.
Yeah. We should do that again.
We'll have that in there.
I have so many Onepagerules models. Oh my god!
we looked painting.
We looked through your tribes the other week.
My mini factory. Yeah.
Oh my god! He hasn't touched it in like 3 months.
Wow. Combine that with our official OnTableTop one, and we'll never have to buy miniatures ever again. So yeah.
I like the bases.
Yeah, they're really nice.
The bases are always nice.
Obviously, they've done them in square and round for those people playing all the games.
The
One
proper
correct
game
set.
Onepagerules knows.
There's your good sort of like corpse markers and everything as well.
Those objective markers are really nice.
They're really good, yeah. Especially for those people playing Age of Sigmar, because you need them to mark grave sites and things like that. Very good. But yeah. The dwarves also gorgeous,
Grave
as you might have imagined.
Everywhere's a gravesite. That
Would
looks
you
like a
buy
giant
Mantic?
meat tenderizer.
It does. Would you buy Mantic Forge Fathers or would you buy these? I'd buy these, I think.
I'd go for Mantic.
Sorry, Jerry, but
Good. The Mantic ones look less runic. Is that Viking-esque?
yes.
No,
More utilitarian, more sort of like.
yeah. They're less heavily themed. They look
Less
like they've got the Mines of Moria on their head.
They do.
Which is stylistically it works for them.
Yeah. We go through the Mines of Moria, by which I mean your face.
What is that? Is that a
little
little
tiny,
armadillo?
Little armadillo. Oh my god, I want
It's an arming Modillo.
Oh.
You've gone wrong, mate. It was only a matter of time, but you have gone
Look
wrong.
at those rangers. Oh, they're so good.
I like that helmet design stops them from walking face first into a wall in the dark and breaking their nose. They just bing, don't go any further that way.
It also makes sure the hood sits in that classic, tall,
lovely peak.
Tall peak. Yeah. You think they've designed that specifically for the aesthetics?
Yes,
I can believe that. Yeah,
there's a dwarven tinker somewhere who did that on purpose. Yeah, but yeah. Really nice stuff there for both the sci-fi and fantasy side of things. And obviously the wealth of product that One-Page-Rules has created over the years is vast. You could Scrooge McDuck your way into it and never come up, I think. But yes, have some fun with that and see what you think. I love the idea of 3D printing dice, by the way, and just screwing over your opponent constantly. Why do they always stick to this? I don't know. I printed them as the file suggested. They're just all bubbly.
I mean, I suppose it saves you baking them.
That's true.
At 180 degrees for 10 minutes.
Heat them in the 3D printer and away you go.
Yeah.
Precisely as you mean to. Yeah.
Be a complete nonce and hollow the dice out before you print it so it retains liquid inside it when you roll.
Sloshing around the place.
Yeah.
And then eventually exploding.
Yeah.
Why does my opponent always need to pee? Oh, it's the sound of the liquid.
Some sort of psychological warfare you're waging there, isn't it?
Pavlov's dice. It involves peeing instead of
You have gone wrong. But yeah, lovely set of Quickstart rules.
Yes.
Like the fact that they've bundled in a couple of forces with both of the sets as well, which is nice.
Very good.
But yeah, if you haven't checked them out, it's a really nice set of rules to play through as well, so it's worth having a look at, because there's obviously there's a lot of proponents for it out there, and the reason being is it's quick to pick up and a lot of fun to play. So yeah. We shall definitely have to revisit in the future. Dust off some of those armies that are sitting around the side of the cage doing nothing.
Yeah.
Draft them into some grim dark future.
Yeah, definitely.
Right. We have a couple of Kickstarters to round out the show.
Yeah.
And we're going to be starting with some crafting and alchemy.
We are, yeah. So Cubicle 7 coming into the last couple of days of their Kickstarter for Vault 5e Crafting and Alchemy, which is their new pair of books for their expanded Dungeons and Dragons lineup. These are expanded crafting rules, so you don't ever have to be a sad dwarf. You can be a happy one. So this is crafting rules for 5e, where you can forge magical weapons and armor, as well as brew potions and elixirs and everything else in between. They're split across 2 books, as I was saying. So you've got Hammer and Anvil, which is all about crafting your weapons and armor to fit the kind of character that you want to be. Obviously, one of the things with magical items in the past with role-playing games, and obviously this isn't a universal thing, but usually the dungeon master will be the one that comes up with the ideas for magical items to suit your party, and there'll be the obvious axe for the barbarian and the wand that clearly the wizard is meant to have. But in this case, they've tried to put a little bit more agency into the mix for both players and dungeon masters to a degree as well, in order for you to make the magical items that you want your characters to have. The other thing that's really nice about this as well is they've also put in loads of additional rules for the crafting element of this, and also the finding of the resources to make your items. So if you wanted to make that really badass fanged greatsword or something, maybe you need to go and get the fangs of a dragon from this peak or whatever, and you have to go and find that in order to make your weapon. Very Monster Hunter style, which I think is quite nice. Same goes for armor as well. On the same side of things as well, you've also got Mortar and Pestle, which is for sort of brewing of potions and poisons and elixirs. And again, the rules are in there for you to make all sorts of different potions, and there's loads of different tables in the book that will dictate what kind of outcome you'll get from mixing various ingredients. We had an interview with Josh, one of the designers behind the book, last week, which you can go and watch, which was sort of an interesting one where we chatted about all the weird things that could go wrong with potions and everything else in between. Is it a potion of healing, or will it turn me into a frog? Who knows?
Pay your money, take your chances.
But again, there are full rules in there for going to find the ingredients to make your potions and poisons and everything as well. So they've done a really nice job to kind of break down things to make perhaps maybe the duller moments potentially of a D&D campaign a little bit more exciting, rather than just getting a card that says how your item works. Yes, you've got to have the right scented candles for your adventures, rather than just having a card that says this is how this magical item works. Maybe you're like, well, the smith will make this for you, but you need to go and get X, Y, and Z in order to make it, and things like that.
He doesn't keep wyvern blood on tap, mate.
Exactly, yes.
Why would he
He's
need
not
that?
got one locked in the back.
It sounds like the old days in World of Warcraft when you wanted something enchanted and the mage went, you can go and get the materials.
Exactly
I am not
that.
doing that, thanks.
I do not have void crystals, nor shall I be farming for them. You can bring them back to me. But it's
very much the case. Yeah.
Well, it adds a couple of interesting bits. One is it opens up the variety of magic items and potions and alchemical things for your group, whether you randomly generate them or what have you. But the other thing is, when you've killed a monster now, you could potentially be going, well, should we take its heart? Can anybody do anything with this? No. But maybe we could sell that for cash money. Has anybody got ice? Would a salted dragon's heart do the same job? Can we get this to somebody to sell it to them to make some cash money before it goes off? Get the cart. We're going on an adventure. Just really lean into the murder hoboism. Start slaughtering and dissecting everything.
Yep.
I like that for my own personal amusement, if nothing else.
Very nice. It also obviously fits in well with everything that they've done in the past for the Vault 5e collection. So if you want to get a life well lived and Uncharted Journeys as well, you can dive in and get those and add those into the mix to sort of expand your D&D adventures on the tabletop. Obviously, then going to be very good for C7D20 when they eventually move over to that and do the basic rule book for that side of things as well. So make sure to keep that in mind for the future, as well as regular 5e. So.
I mean, it's good because they're generic enough. Once you start crafting and messing around, it doesn't really matter on the rule system you're using because you can fudge the mechanics.
Just roll different dice.
That should be one of the easier parts to do. But it's one of those books, or a pair of books, that could be ubiquitous to your group because it will fit any game system you're playing. Dragon Bane, Dungeons and Dragons, Pathfinder, C7D20. It's not tied to a specific realm or game system so intrinsically that you can't use it in other places. Add a bit more game to your game, which is good.
Yes.
Right. What other Kickstarter has we got?
I've seen the running order.
I didn't think I was going to get to talk about this, but through unforeseen circumstances, I now am able to do so. So Oathsworn miniatures are back on Kickstarter with a new project for Burrows and Badgers. Yes. And the Warriors of the Wild. So this is a very short Kickstarter. So when you're watching this, it will only be 2 days left on this one if you want to get involved. Michael is back with a whole host of amazing sculpts for exploring the fringes of Northumbria and the different characters that dwell with along it. There are 3 new sets for you to pick up. There's the Kindred, the Soldiers, and the Outsiders. The Kindred are the ones that worship the Green Mother. Think of them as those that stop them boats and things and throw paint on roads in front of oil giants.
The ones in orange t-shirts.
Yeah.
Right.
And then you've also got the soldiers, who are sort of like your militias and things that you could throw into all of your different factions and town guard and everything else in between. And then there are the outsiders, the ones that dwell on the fringes of civilization and are your sort of oddballs and weirdos that you could make into a wonderful little warband. You can buy each of the different sets, so each of the 3 individually if you like, which come with around like 6 or 7 models per set, or you can dive in and get the whole lot if you so desire. and have some fun with that. It's been really nice to see Michael come back with a whole host of new sculpts. They are, as always, gorgeous.
Oh, that oil.
Oh yeah. If you're in any way a fan of like Redwall or Mice and Mystics, or you just love really nice models, I don't think you need to say anything more than that. Really, they are absolutely gorgeous. As someone who is a big fan of badges, I need them badges. They will go into my badger collection. How many times can I say badger? There's also a really awesome new otter in there as well, and that owl, as you say, John, is just gorgeous. Another thing to note with these, they're all metal or resin. They are all one piece, so you simply just get them out of the bag or the clamp pack, stick them onto a base, and just get painting. And yeah, I think you guys probably agree with me as well. They paint up lovely as well. They are really well detailed and just a gorgeous thing to paint. Lots of different textures and ideas that you wouldn't necessarily think of when it comes to regular miniatures, obviously, because the fur's involved in everything as well. And you've got to look at things like patterning for the birds and all the other creatures. But yeah, a gorgeous and tartan of well.
Law tartan research to be done there, which is required by law if you paint those models.
Yeah.
Thankfully, my otters did not have any tartan, and I refused to paint it.
But yeah, lovely set of models there, and another option for you to dive in and start playing the game. What's quite nice about Burrows and Badgers as well as a whole is that there's no set way for you to build your warband, because it's kind of like a campaign game like Mordheim and things that you will have hopefully played in the past. So you could essentially just get one of these sets and that could just be your warband, because it's just the cool models that you like. And I think that's a really nice way of doing things. You just theme it around a particular faction away you go. So
have you backed this yet, Ben?
I haven't backed it yet. I'm going to back it though. I'm going to back it. I've been looking at my box of unpainted stuff from the last 2 Kickstarters, and then looked at this and was like, "Can I?
Oh no!
Yes,
yes, you can."
Yeah, I think they're probably going to end up in my collection anyway. That owl just sells it for me.
Yeah,
it's just amazing. There's also the otter with the sword over his shoulders. Is very reminiscent of Wirren of Bly from the Joe Abercrombie novels, if you've read any of those. From the Heroes. And I just saw that and was like, he has to be in my collection.
Guess I'm adding a new otter to my army.
Oathsworn, hopefully going to be at Salute this year as well. Should be quite nice. Going over and check them out as well. But yeah, an amazing little collection of miniatures.
That'll be cool. Are they just in the actual factions, or can you pick up individuals if you want to pick up individuals?
I can't remember if they do the individual thing. I think it's just a mix. I think it's
packs or everything. Okay.
Yeah. Although, as I say, they usually do something with their what do they call it after the thing? The pledge managers,
pledge manager type thing. Yeah,
it might be worth checking with them in the comments or watching for updates and FAQs and things like that in the future about that one. But as I say, not many days left on the project. I would also say as well, for anyone who has been following the game or is maybe thinking about getting into it, obviously you can go and grab the rulebook now and start playing the game, which is great. Do it. It's amazing. But they are also working on a new edition of the game, which is going to be published either the end of this year, maybe starting next year. So if you're interested in diving in and getting the most up-to-date version of Burrows and Badgers, then watch out for that as well. I think they're doing that alongside Osprey once again. So yeah, very nice stuff.
If it's the end of the year, to be fair, that is 10 months away now.
Yes.
So
you can get as many games in as you like with the old rules before you dive into the one. And they're also pretty cheap anyway. Yeah. So go and grab them and have some fun. So,
there you go. Fantastic stuff. There are 4 days left for Vault 5e's Crafting and Alchemy. And there are just the 2 for the Burrows and Badgers, Warriors of the Wild. Or in Ben's case, Warrior of the Wild. Actually, we now know what happened to Lloyd and why he couldn't be with us this week. So,
I nobbled him, so
yeah. just so you can extol the virtues of Badgers and or Burrows.
Yeah.
Right. On that note, I think it's enough from us. We shall leave you once again and return next Friday for more of the same. If that's too far away, join us on Sunday morning over on tabletop.com for the Cult of Games XLBS, where we shall have some waffling about hobby. There may be some bolt action being discussed. There will be a lot of bolt action being discussed.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Until next week, have a great week of gaming. Bye-bye.
Go ahead and check out our other content on screen now. And while you're at it, why not hit subscribe and remember to ding our dong. Go on, you know you want to click it. Go on.